Hey everyone, welcome back to iFilm. In today's video, I'm going to provide you 5 simple tips that will hopefully help you make a better video. Without further ado, let's get into it. Coming in at number 1 is adding background music. Adding background music is really simple to do and can really help you orchestrate a certain atmosphere if that's what you're trying to portray in your video. I create a 1 Minute Wednesday up in the top right corner here, and you can check that out to do that in iMovie. Here are some examples of a video without music. And with music. Tip number 2, composition. What is your shot made up of? The definition of composition is the nature of something's ingredients or constituents, the way in which a whole or mixture is made up. To adjust your composition settings on your phone, click Settings, then on Camera, and then click Enable Grid. Enabling the grid is going to help you utilize the rule of thirds. In short, the rule of thirds is placing your subject on one of the vertical intersecting lines. A lot of blockbuster Hollywood movies, including Mission Impossible, Ghost Protocol, and many others, have utilized this. Check it out. As you can see, I've inserted a transparent image so you know what I mean when I say the characters are intersecting over the vertical axis lines. Benji's in the middle, and it's going to move back and forth between Tom Cruise and his assistant from center and using the top intersecting line. This is really helpful, and when we're moving on to Iron Man here, in this scene you can see that Iron Man is always in that right top axis in that grid line for rule of thirds. This is a very, very famous scene, so you know what I mean by the pros use it very wisely. If you want to learn more about composition in a separate video, leave a like and a comment and I'll get back to you. Not only will the grid help you utilize the rule of thirds, but it can also help provide depth. In short, depth is specifically placing your subjects in certain areas of your frame. Take a look at this golf ball example. Alright, so I'm here at the 3 golf ball example. I tap on the in-goal magazine ball, and now these 2 balls have gone out of focus. And this is really what depth of field is. What is in focus? So if I was filming a movie, then a subject could be out of focus, and then the talking subject would be in focus. For example, if this in-goal ball is a background or someone's back, then that Callaway ball could be the person talking. This ball is out of focus, providing the audience direction, and again, you can also tap on the 3rd ball. And now, the first ball is the hardest to understand and hardest to read because it's the most out of focus. And then the 2nd ball, and then if there's more golf balls, it would be in a progressive way. So again, grid lines can also help with establishing depth of field. Notice here, I have it on the top right intersecting vertical line. The Callaway golf ball in focus now is in the center, and then the Banff Springs at the back left is in the top left corner area. Moving on, we have tip number 3, utilizing slow motion. So whether that's recording a really quick sports event or anything like that, you don't want to click on video, press record, and then slow the video down later on to create a slow motion video. Because if you think about it, a video is just a series of photos all lined up and squished together. So that is FPS. If you know what FPS is, it's frames per second. Frames per second is those photos every second. How many photos every second will there be? 24 FPS, well, you guessed it, 24 frames or small photos per second. The higher the frame rate, the better it looks when you slow it down, meaning that slow motion uses a higher frame rate so that once it plays, it's a smoother slow motion video. And just remember too, if you record in slow motion, think about it. You can go into your post-production and just say speed up by 6 times or 8 times or 4 times, and then you get that video to normal speed. In short, if you're recording in slow motion, choose a higher frame rate for a smoother overall video. Tip number 4, and I cannot stress this enough, I've learned from it, it sucks when you get it wrong, but take more videos than you assume you will use. So, if you're creating a short movie, or a short documentary, or just a short video, you're not going to go out into nature or wherever you're shooting, create one video, take one video, upload it, and say you're done. Well, what happens if the audio didn't work? What happens if the exposure or anything like that was wrong? Well, now you're at your home, you're back from that 4-hour drive, it's 10 o'clock, you can't go out, so you really have to make sure that you always have a backup plan, whether that's in videography or photography. Just take more shots than you think you'll need, and it's really going to help you in the long run. Last but not least, tip number 5 is use a tripod or gimbal. A tripod, 1, 2, 3, try, and then pod. The pod is where you place your phone, and this helps stabilize your footage. A gimbal, if you're unaware, has a small piece of machinery that automatically stabilizes your iPhone footage. So you place your iPhone on top, hit record, and no matter how bouncy it gets, it will always help stabilize and create a better viewing experience for your audience. Although all iPhone 7 and newer models have OIS, optical image stabilization, it can really help to make your video stand out to use a tripod or gimbal. But if you don't have one, I started off by using a little board or a book or something to stand your phone on and hit record and then edit later. Another really cool thing about the gimbal is that there's a little joystick on it. For me, I have the DJI Osmo 4, and that's when I went to Lake Louise. I utilized it so much, whether that was for vlogging or for taking pan across videos. It can really help boost your video and help create a more cinematic experience for your audience. If learning about the DJI Osmo 4 is something that you want to see, leave a comment down below and I'll reply as soon as possible. Again, but if no tripod or gimbal, just try and find something to place your iPhone on and help stabilize your footage. That's all for today's video. So in review, tip number 1, add background music. It can really help you establish a certain atmosphere if that's something that you're going for. Tip number 2, have better composition. By enabling the grid lines, it's going to help you utilize the rule of thirds and establish depth. Tip number 3, always use slow motion over normal video if you're going for a slow-mo video. Remember what I said, the higher frame per second, FPS, the smoother it will look in slow motion. Tip number 4, take more videos than you will need. Just trust me on this one. You don't want to have that huge feeling of regret when you're making a video and you forgot to take a shot. Tip number 5, use a gimbal or tripod. In short, just make sure you're doing your best to have the most stabilized footage possible. That's it for today's video. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next one. Thanks for watching. If you want to see another video, click here and here.